Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Fort Wayne Up Close. It's my pleasure today to be joined by my co-host once again, Mr. Clarence Smith Jr. the third.
What's going on, JJ?
It's a pleasure hanging out with you. And our guest today, hey, people, Fort Wayne Up Close. Been chasing this guy around like he Elvis Presley, like he a white whale, something. But hey, we done got him here. He came. We ain't gonna say he was late or nothing, but we appreciate the time that he here.
Yes.
And he got things going on, a mover and shaker in our city, but none other than Jerry Starks.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Glad you're here.
Big for me.
There you go. And before we get off into it, we're going to have Mr. CS3 lead us in prayer.
Yes, sir. Let us all pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you again, just thanking you for your grace and your mercy, dear Heavenly Father. As we come before you and your people, dear Heavenly Father, we're going to ask your blessing on this young man, his ventures, as he's trying to empower and help and build up a community, dear Heavenly Father. Keep his steps ordered in your will and your way, dear Heavenly Father. Bless everything that he's trying to do. We're going to ask you to bless those that are on the panel and bless those that are behind the scenes. In your son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
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 All righty. Now back to you, Mr. Jerry.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of things going on. Obviously, Roosevelt Reserves is the big thing. A lot of people ask and trying to figure out, what needs to happen. How can they get involved? But before we even get into that, JM Realty, you successful realtor doing things and always helping out the people on the Southeast side.
Yes.
And I don't know how much you follow us or not, but ONV, 6th District Coalition, our whole focus is on the Southeast side.
Yes.
Want to empower and uplift. And I know that's what you all about too. But talk to me a little bit about JM Realty and real estate. How you get into that?
Well, when I first started real estate, a lot of the agents and a lot of people, of course, they want the big commission checks. So you're going to big commission checks, you're going out Northwest, Southwest, and stuff like that, So when I got into it, I said, I got to find my own niche. What's my niche here? Who can I go to who being underserved and really need homes and maybe affordable homes in Southeast was kind of in that price point where $60,000, $70,000 houses. So I went there, and a lot of individuals might have credit or financial illiteracy. So I learned how to do not credit repair, but credit understanding, like simply by paying out a credit card or back, banking, like a little something like opt out where you can't get those soft pulls and getting 4 or 5 points. And because a lot of times people was getting like, hey, either you approve or you're not approved. So when I had a lender, I was working with a lady at Wells Fargo, and she was on her grit and grind. She's in President Club now. She's doing great, but we was grit and grind 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll get an unapproval, like, hey, not just the unapproved, but why unapproved? How can we overcome that? Next thing you know, we start overcoming that, and those individuals buying the 60, 70,000 homes. Them homes came 140, 150. The market came where they went to the second and third homes. And there's one point in Indiana where I was ranked number 1 in units sold, not volume, but I was selling 100, 150 homes a year, but I was serving all Southeast. So when I saw Southeast, I said, man, these prices are going up. But the other realtors or other companies or developers not seeing that because they're not in the jungle. And I said, well, this is almost new construction costs. Not quite there, but if it keep doing that movement, it's going to be new construction. Where can you put new construction at? Looked around, there's 141 acres. No one had touched it because it's a little bit in the floodplain. But I said, well, man, I'm going to go ahead and try to see what I can do with this. At the point in time, I didn't have $1 million to buy the land, but I had an idea. So I got with the individual who owned the land, and I put down some earnest money, like minimum like $10,000, $15,000. Then there's another section that came on Tillman that was from a guy in Ohio. So I had to get him to sell because I needed that other parcel, like 40 acres. So when I finally got this information, did some skip tracing, went down to Ohio and said, hey, well, I got this under contract, right? Do you want to sell yours? He said, well, kind of, not really. I said, well, what you going to do with it? He said, probably farm it. Well, I just talked to the individuals who's farming our land. They said, well, once I buy, they're not farming no more because of development because it's not big enough. He had like 20, 30 acres. He said, well, I don't know. Let me get back with you. Got back with me, locked in that, never developed a house, never did any, never, I think I had maybe built 1 or 2 homes. I was like, go ahead. I went for it. I had my attorney do like a preliminary hearing. City heard about it, and they just said, hey, they got on board because they wanted Southeast, and I guess was the first person to try to do something like that. Mm. And then the difficult part about it is I had a bank in line, and the bank was ready to go, but everything then lined up. So like, man, maybe 60 days left into the deal to close the transaction. The bank say, we want to do a development loan, but you don't have this TIF fund together. You don't have all this money. You don't have this stuff together. So we won't do the loan. So I said, well, give me 50% loan to value. Nah, we can't do that. We don't want to be involved. So what happened was I closed a loan, liquidated some assets, I closed it with all cash, and then it put me in a better position because now I can negotiate because I would have been in bed with that bank. So they did me a favor. Yeah. They walked off the plate and said they didn't want it no more. But then when it came around, because the CRA credits, which you're probably familiar with, they need them credits. They was out the ball game then. It was over with. I ain't did it now.
I got you. Now, see, you talk with such passion and everything. Yes. Like I said, you was JM Realty. I mean, successful, as you said, one of the top realtors in the state. What made you want to venture off into the development? I mean, and as you said, you didn't have any background in that. And I know you done bumped your head and had to stumble. Man. Talk about that process, that journey. And I know it has to be rewarding because I know at one point in time, you bump your head, it's like, dang, like you said, the bank pulling it, people pulling it, eating the wool out from under you and everything else. Like, is it really going to happen? Ain't it going to happen? Now you where you at? Speak on that.
Well, I think that, when I'm the type of person that's going to jump into it. I got this philosophy, right? I can go to college, wherever, spend $60,000, $70,000, and then take that 2 years, and then at 2 years go work for somebody for 2 years, right. And then in that fifth year, now I'm okay to do it, and skip that. I'm in $30,000, $70,000, bet it, gamble it. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready in 6 months now. I know I done lost, but now I got real hardcore education and real hands-on experience. The first house I built, I probably lost $100,000, but I'm gonna sit there and work for a reputable builder and get up under his wings, and they teach you what they want to teach you. Hey, I'm jumping there and figuring out. And I figured out, bumped my head, but that put me in a better position to understand that, hey, man, I don't think you fail at anything. Everything's a learning experience. So I just figured when I lose money in certain situations, building, construction, new development, marketing, everything like that, it's my college, because I have a small college degree. I got associates in business, but business is just, associate is just really just, I don't know. I think it's me personally, unless you're doing something like doctor, lawyers, psychologists where you need that education, I think it's really better to get it hands-on. And college, you be $200,000 in a hole. And
we had a show about that. Was college necessary or not? And we talked about trades and, actually working with somebody to get the knowledge. But I have a question along in hearing what you say. Not only did you not want to be in bed with the bank, but everything like that, but what made you want to do it on the southeast side of town? I know you heard, as JJ said, you might have hit some struggles, bumped your head. I know there was a lot of people saying, don't do it, it ain't worth it, because they can give you developments that may have tried that didn't come about. We know things that happen in the city. What in your heart made you say, no, this is where I need to be and what I need to do?
I think I just follow my intuition. It's just, I kind of like I felt it. Like I feel that it's nothing in the world you can't do. I think we almighty people. It's just that we don't unlock, like, you could develop it. Yes. We all have this knowledge and capability of doing it, but the people, we get into this little box. Even when you start out in school, it looks like the school system almost like the prison system. They go to child, they get in a classroom, they sit on a chalkboard, and you always tell the kids, no, can't do this, can't do that, be work for somebody. But I think when a person unlocks their minds and unlock their ability, man, it was just like, I have high confidence that, hey, I can make it happen. So when I seen the land, never knew how to develop it, never did, I said, man, can't be that hard. It's nothing new under the sun, Yes. I'm going to lose something. I might not make it work the first or second time, but I know it's going to come together. And I believe once you throw into the universe, you get back in the universe. And I threw it out there. It's going to come back as long as I look for it.
Yeah. And I was going to say, too, what you might not understand, Clarence, you say, why do it? He's already on the southeast side. Right. So like he said, he figured out, he found a niche.
Right.
The other part, the key, he found land. So if you're talking, even if you want to go out north of some of these more affluent areas, you know what you're going to do? You're going to pay that cost. And there's not a lot of land out there. He had the insight, I got this land, let me get it. And he can make his plan work.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, he's in the industry. He understands, too, there's still a housing shortage on the southeast side, by so many thousands. So, again, we do appreciate it. That he's over there working and doing it. And I mean, speak to that because, again, like you said, you can't do it by yourself. Partnership, like with the city. What's their involvement? How has that relationship been?
Well, So what really helped out with the land is that was the last big partial in Fort Wayne city limits. So we start building out northwest, southwest, you technically getting outside the city limits, and then you 100-town things like that. So when the city heard about it, they called me in there and said, "Hey, well, we want to be part of it." So me not knowing what development is, because I could have took a terrible loss, because I had to sell these lots for $60,000-$70,000 to recuperate my costs.
Right.
So when you look at the performing the budget, I'm $6 million off, So I got a budget where I get the land developed. If I sell it for what I can sell it for, which around that 40,000-50,000 mark, I'm going to lose $6 million. So what happened was the city said, "Hey, we want this to happen too." So it's a tip. But a lot of people don't understand about when you partner with a government entity or city, you a lot of people come in there, "Hey, I want to do a restaurant or I want to do this," but you don't own the building, you don't have site control. So what happened good, I had to own the land. It was free and clear. I wasn't in bed with nobody. I had site control, so I had control of the project. But I couldn't do the project. But it's part of the Southeast Development, right? So what they said is, "This is what we can do. We can give you TIF funding." And what TIF funding is saying, "Hey, anything that's public improvement, water lines, sewer lines, streets, curbs, dirt moving, all that stuff." And that's the bulk of it. So maybe with the first part of the project, I think the city infused maybe 2.6 million. I infused 1.9 million. So we have $4 million into the project. But now I don't have to make back that 2.1 million. So now I can say, "Hey, well, I'm going ahead and make 200,000, 300,000 the whole project. I can sell them for 40,000 or 39,000 and still get my money back and make a considerable." I think they have like a cap on which you can make 8-9% on your money, and that's what I'm making. And then the city technically gets the money back, because now I got farmland. The farmland I'm paying what, $10,000 a year in taxes. But now if I develop this land and I got 50 houses out here at $4,000 a pop, that's $200,000 a year in taxes. And then I build the other 50, now you got 40,000 years of taxes. And now that money they gave for the tip, they take that tax money, pay that back to the developer, or pay it back to the bank or entity where you got it from, and now it's a break even. It's everybody happy, because now after you get done with it, they still got the water bills, they still got them taxes 15-20 years from now.
Correct. That's the win-win company.
That's the win. I see that
the
now.
city is making money off somebody
I see that
developing,
now.
and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Out there, okay, Roosevelt Reserves. That's the name of it. Let's make sure everybody understands that. So talk to us. Where does the name come from? And then let's start there. Where does the name come from?
All right. So I was Jerry Starks Jr. I had a father, Jerry Starks Sr. So I had a very great grandfather. I had a good grandfather. He was like, I guess, people say that, grandparents make the best parents. So my father was a good, solid individual, very into our life, man, but just grandpa just had like a little level hit him. So I actually went to the court system, got myself a middle name, Jerry Roosevelt, after my grandfather, Starks Jr. I changed my name, and then I went in there and I named it after my grandfather.
Okay. See,
nice.
Good. They talk about that past.
Yes,
where it come
yes.
from. He ain't just stroll in. Now, I lost my train of thought, but it came back to me, because again, when you're talking about not having to make up money because the city picked up some of the costs, something that, see stats that you may not be aware of, or people out there watching, talk to them about, that's the other conundrum. So when you build on the south side, like he said, he has all these costs. And I know, Jerry, we've had conversations, and you may want to come in and build a house. Hey, we got to build affordable housing.
Right.
I want to build for 150. 150, it can't be done. It's not reasonable. So now you at a conundrum where you have to get to a price point where he can't lose money,
Right.
but he still has to make it affordable. Yeah. But it's like right now, he's got, his price point is where you getting people coming out there buying, but he still is elevating, the market rate out there. So talk to the people a little bit about that, how making that fit, and what, where your price point is.
That's a good question. So basically what I can do now is, because I can sell, so basically when you buy a new construction home, they passing that lot cost on to you. So you see, you go to the website, say this house is $400,000. You put on the land now, it's $490. Because I built out Northwest and Southwest too. I'm paying $85,000 for a lot. So now $85,000 for a lot. I put the house on there. I got $380,000 house. Boom. But now if I come back and say, hey, I can get this lot for $38. You want the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can save 40,000 on that same house, or now you can go crazy. I want granite. I got $40,000. I can go granite countertops. I can do all vinyl flooring. I want an extra three because you start adding on to it. So the houses that we are building out there, the people are throwing that money that they saved on the lots back in the houses, and that's allowing us to put bigger and better houses out there.
So what's the price? What's the average price that you got that you looking to build or you have? Well, answer that. The average price of the house you looking to build or that you have right now. How many homes do you have built right now? And what is going to be your capacity?
Well, right now we got about 30 something built, maybe about 9, 10 people in the subdivision, probably another 6 or 7 closing by the end of the month. Now, every house that we built was a custom built home. There's no house that looks the same. Anybody out there, different floor plans, different elevations. So, what can I build? You probably can get in the high twos, low threes. What have I built out there? Most people are around the mid threes, and some even spent $500,000 so far.
Oh, that's good. And what I like what you said, because I was out in Huntingtown for my job today, and I drove through the neighborhood, and every corner you saw this house, you saw that house, and they all look the same. So that's a good question. And when JJ was saying about the price, so when I want to develop my house, and you said I'm paying $40,000 for a lot, but then I want to develop the house. How's the process of me going to picking my house, developing my house, and being with your builders and everything?
Well, what we do usually when we pick a floor plan out, we put it on our website. We say, hey, well, we built this before. Do you like something like this? You can't build the exact same thing, but here's an example of what we built. Or we sit you down straight with an architect or a draftsman. We say, hey, what's your ideas? What's your concept? Coming with 4 or 5 pictures and stuff like that. And they draw it out. Once we draw it out, we bid it out and we build it just like any other builder, except we just don't do, you can have this. I'm talking about you can have whatever you want. We got tankless water heaters, man and block plumbing. We got balconies. We got 3-car. We got accent walls. We got anything that somebody want to build. We built it on a floor plan in loans within their budget. And they can want to do it. We do it, and a lot of people been going like bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's good. I want to ask one more question, JJ, and it just hit me when you thought about that. When he mentioned price point, how in price point in affordable housing, for me being a layman, I want to understand how you fit both of them into one. Because when we say affordable housing, we think that $125,000 house, and we know that that's way gone. But, how between price point and market value, how would you direct a person that's building this their first home, but they want to keep it, but they're having trouble with their loans, they're having trouble with interest rates? How do you keep? Because I got a granular, I want this big old mansion, but it's not in my budget.
Yeah.
How do you direct people to be able to keep it affordable, but within market rates?
Well, see, when I did the project, the main thing the city wanted, they wanted market rate housing. So I'm kind of like on the opposite side of the spectrum. But what I did do is there are programs in different. See, sometimes I tell everybody when they buy a house, everybody has this big grand idea. I want to build a house. I say, listen, this might be your forever house. You got to get in a house, got a stepping stone. If you buy $100,000 house in the middle of Pontiac, who cares? Buy it, pay the down. Now, once you time to buy the second house, you got $67,000 equity, and maybe that second house might not be your favorite house. But then you got 67. Next thing you got more and more equity. Eventually, you're gonna get to what you want. But people are scared to, hey, maybe because they feel they have to impress their peers. They have to be in a certain situation, a certain position. But you trying to impress somebody is going to put you in a bad financial position in the long run. So go ahead, start where you got to start off. If it's just a 1-bedroom, you got to start gaining equity. Once you gain that equity, second house and third house. So to answer your question, affordability is based on budget. So what we basically do is we sit them down with a lender. We get an application pool, and we see what the credit score is and the income. Based on your income, this is what we recommend you should do. Because you say you can afford $1,200 a month. $1,200 a month get you with these high rates. What, probably 160 now? Something, JJ.
6.5. 6.5.
JJ got the low rates, but it's kind of the rates. $1,200 don't get you like it used to get you when they had the academic. So I said, hey, you got $1,200. $1,200 ain't gonna get you this 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. You know what I'm saying? $1,200 gonna get you maybe a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I don't want that. I said, well, if you don't want that now, it's gonna be highly it's gonna be high. It's gonna be highly more. It's gonna be more difficult to get that 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom bath when you want it, because now you're not gaining any type of equity possession. You're not grabbing. You're not grabbing any. You're not grabbing any asset. So when it comes down to it, you still got this 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house that's $400,000. At least if you had took this, you can afford this and got it paid down to 10,000. Now I got 90,000 equity, sell that house, and I can get that 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house. It's just all stepping stones, and I think a lot of us don't like those stepping stones.
No.
No, that's well put. The stepping stone,
Yes.
get that equity, and if you think, I say it all the time. One of the biggest things, the cause of the wealth gap that exists between Caucasians and African Americans is home ownership.
Yes,
And that's
true.
exactly what their folks did. They had the stepping stones, they had a house paid for, and they use equity to pay for their kids through college, kids get out, and now, they utilize that money.
Yes.
They got a built-in bank, and they just keep climbing
Yes.
to where you see them living out, some of these, additions and areas that we're talking about. Back to your project, you said, I heard you talk about sitting down with architects and going over plans. And so I just want to make sure I'm clear and letting everybody hear this. So you basically doing a new construction, a new build for folks, but you taking on the cost as the builder?
Yeah, I carry some of the construction loans. Some other people carry the construction loans. So basically, if you come, a lot of builders don't do that. But I had to take risks to make it happen, because a lot of people have in loans, FHA loans, 3.5% down. Sometimes loans with 0 down, or loans with grant money. You take that to a builder. A lot of them say, no, we don't want to take that chance because your loan might fall through. But me, I went out there, got a decent sized builder line, $2 million, and I said, well, I'll take the risk. What can I lose? And all of it's panned out pretty well. If somebody doesn't want it, at least if you don't have a construction loan, I might be a little more conservative. I won't let you paint your room pink or have some orange siding or something like that. Hey, you can't do that because I'm paying for this. Once you get it, you can do what you want to do. And that's been pretty working well out for me. So like majority of them houses out there, I carried the cost for it. So either with a line of credit, cash, and then people bought them, and the people who built the house, people who wanted the house, I just sold one. Matter of fact, that was today, and they built it. They had, matter of fact, they had to sell their house to sell the house, use the equity from that house to buy this house, and I took on that risk because to make it get where I need to get, it's going to be a risk. Bigger risk, bigger reward.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, in the climate we have today, is a risk, but good and dang well how houses are moving.
Yeah,
like you said, a pending sale, depending on where it is. I mean, you put your house up on a Monday, it could be sold Monday afternoon.
Right.
So definitely hear you. But no, that's great, because again, new construction, I hope people understand how big that is.
It's big.
That I don't need a construction loan,
Right.
that you're willing to walk me through that process. So tell us, how can people get in touch with you? You mentioned the website. What's your website? Tell the folks about your website.
www.starksiniaturehomes.com. You can call me personally. I'm a personal person. Call my cell phone 260-479-8161. Text me. I'm here to make it work for the community. I was born and raised Southeast, and like I tell everybody, I was walking to Scott's grocery store. It was the biggest grocery store in the city
Yes,
at one point in time.
Yes,
it
it
was nice. It was like a big old place to be. It had everything, and I just steadily seen it go down and down, and people just start moving out. And I seen an opportunity. And that's where a lot of our people is, and they was underserved. They didn't know they could buy a house, and I just want to build on that point you said, how some of our grandparents and our parents did that house. Some of the house that they was paying $20,000-$30,000 for, they don't think's worth nothing. Some houses now selling for $120,000, $150,000. People just won't take the patience. They want it. People that I be around all the time, they want it today. And a lot of times with African American race, you see a lot of them doing things that's unorthodox because they want it today.
Yes.
They can't wait till tomorrow's a slow grind, 7%, 8%. It's hard to get a person to say, hey man, I'm gonna throw you throw $100 in it. Instead of me going to eat twice a week, I'm throwing $100 in the IRA or $100 somewhere else. Man, by the time you 20, 30 years now, you got $1 million. But we want it today. I think we the biggest consumers of probably lottery tickets because we want to hit the lottery. Instead of, I put our lottery money in there. I had the same amount of money 10 years from now, maybe more.
There you go. Well said. Well said. See stats?
Well, I'm learning a lot, especially new build, and I'm gonna be totally transparent because it's been years ago that I got caught up. Y'all remember the housing market, those bubbles?
Oh,
those,
yeah.
You didn't need no assets or no income.
Yeah, I ended up in it. So How do we avoid that happening again?
Well, the feds came in and stopped a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I was
There's
gonna say, yeah.
no predator lending. Those adjustable rates would kill everybody. So a lot of times, and I just read an article the other day. Then buy downs are starting to hurt people too now because they thinking I'm gambling the market. I think rates are going down, but now that rate you bought down to 3.5 to 4.5, man, next year's gonna be in 6.5. Now, of course, if the administration is trying to push the rates down, which me personally, I think that'd be great for me, great for the subjects, great for everybody,
Yes.
because you borrow less, you can borrow less money. But inflation is crazy too, though, because you got to think, even though houses went up from $50,000 to $150,000, like you said earlier, their incomes didn't go up like that, so it pushed people out the market at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that, and I think I spoke to you about that, JJ. And I don't want people to be fearful, thinking that we are heading, to those kind of things again, because that was tragic for a lot of people.
Yeah, and like you said, we talked again off camera, but no need to be fearful. Like he said, the Fed stepped in. What happened back then, there's nothing less going on today.
Wild West.
Like I said, they literally were giving people, they called it NIMBY, no assets, no income. You can get a loan. They're giving it to you. And then, like you said, adjustable rate. You can afford it right now. That balloon payment hit you. What do you do?
Yes.
Man, I've seen some horror stories where you can just sign up to be a person to give loans. You might find a rate for 6%. You get a person under you sell them for 8%. They sell for 10%. By the time you get the other person 12%, and there was no docs. So if you had a certain credit score, all you had to do is state your income. People was living in mansions, and then appraisers, they was in the pocket too, right? So appraisers will go appraise empty land, sell it for $150,000 wherever it is. Then the bank start foreclosing and stuff like, where the house at? Ain't no house. It's just a lot. And it was wild back then.
Yeah, it was rough. And to Jerry's point, I mean, people are getting approved. You get approved. You going through the ringer. I mean, they
Oh man.
checking, dotting I's, crossing T's.
Yeah.
So it's not just like you said, you're not walking in and saying you get it. It's just the market, man, is just the rates went low, and that's what caused like the little boom that we saw. But right now, as he says, it's leveling out, and everybody I've talked to, I don't think it's gonna get, if we get back to the fives, we're gonna be lucky. If it gets to 5, that's it. It's not getting any lower. I heard 5s and 6s, but the 2.5 and the 3s, I mean, killing the game. That was a beautiful thing. It kept everybody humping though. So. Yeah. You got any parting shots you want for us? Go ahead and get your website out again so people know how to get in touch with you.
www.starksignaturehomes.com. Maybe your guys can put on the screen. Just like I said, call my cell phone. I'm a very personal person. I can be reached, 260-479-8161. I love to, even you can buy a house now. I remember when you talk about how I got good, start selling more houses, I had a pipeline 3-4 years. If a person put in something with 400 credit score and they can buy a house, those are the turn downs. Them are the people I wanted, because when you sat there and helped them and held their hands, and it might be somebody like on that, the inner city, people call it hood, could never get a house, right?
Right.
And then I get Takian the house. We post on Facebook. How Takian get this house? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jerry got that.
Right.
Takian get a house. I get a house.
Yeah.
What's up, Jerry? Oh yeah. What's happening? Boom. But I will walk them through it because everything can be repaired.
Right.
But the person, like I said, the stepping stones, 400, 450, 2-3 years from now, and now they're in the house, and they would never got that if they had a person take the time to talk to them.
No question.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
One more thing. You gave us your website, but we know, JJ know, but people don't know. Tell us where the location of your houses are right now. Where are you building?
Well, I'm building on the side on a corner of Hess Castle Tillman, right behind Crown Colony, across from Trier Ridge. Very nice area, southeast side of town. We got some Starbucks out there, Clovers. I got a commercial piece I'm trying to develop that I'm talking in partnership and like that. I'm going south. I'm southeast. I got another development possibly down on Trentman Road that going to do some bigger, more expensive houses, and want to work on another one where it might be the more less expensive houses where you might not be able to go customs. Might be like neighborhood where maybe there's 5 or 10 different floor plans, but the people might be able to get and save those 220s, 240, stuff like that. But I just want to, I want to be Southeast. That's why I want to make my name. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. And I think the people, we as people, man, it's just, it seems like we get so much hate for each other. We are our biggest enemies.
Yes,
But if
sometimes.
we don't collaborate, and I notice it's just going up in business, man, that sometimes people want to be a boss of ABC company who has nothing but a website, then say, hey, man, 2% of something that has some type of value. Like I give everything I own right now for 0.5% of Amazon, but like why you give it all up? Because the percentages make difference. If you can go fast by yourself or go far with others. So if you can get like-minded people who understand that, man, we have economical power, but the only problem is that we take our economics and we take it outside our area.
Right.
We give it away, spend it somewhere else, and say I'm not spending with him, or I just threw growing up, man, like clothing stores. Oh, he got the fake clothes. He probably got the real clothes, but just because he black, he got the fake clothes.
Right.
Like, what is this? We just for no reason at all. It's just hate. But I think it comes back from the beginning of time.
Yeah. Or what do we do for a living?
Right. Yeah.
So, but man, hey, it's been a pleasure having you on. Like I said, this is what we stand for, the 6th District Coalition. You doing great things on this side. And we like to highlight, folks that come from the Southeast side.
Yeah.
You are an example of both. But the comment I was going to make when you were talking about working with those folks with a 400 credit score, there's something that I talk about often on my podcast, my financial podcast. And when I talk to people, I'm in the same boat. I get it. I let people, they trust you. And you're not talking over their head or down to them. You empowering them. They coming to you where like I do. You walk into some of these doors and people rolling their eyes and they're looking, that 400. And our folks are so used to being downtrodden and treated like second-class citizens. So when you come and just treat people with dignity and respect, I mean, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And, like I said, happy with what you're doing.
Yes. I'm happy too. Thank you.
Glad we finally got you on there.
Yes.
On here. And
Yeah, it was a little late,
talk.
I like you here. I want to talk some more, Hey, this is a beautiful thing you got here, JJ.
Hey, we appreciate it. That's what I say. We're a friendly environment here. We
It's
talk.
nice.
But see, Stats, we got some stuff going on this Saturday. You want to go ahead and talk about that?
This Saturday, we're asking everybody to come out in our community. We're having a mental health fair. In our community, mental health has been always, a taboo subject of things we didn't want to talk about. But we have grief, we have depression, we have anxiety, we have all this that we deal with as a community. It's at Indiana Tech from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have breakout sessions. We have great speakers. Christiana Danielle will be the entertainment. Not only will we feed you mentally and give you all the information, but we feed you physically. We will give you a lunch and everything. And the cost of this, JJ, would you believe what the cost is? What do you always say, JJ? What's the cost?
Free.
Free. So just come on out, join us. Go to ONV website, go to ONV Facebook page. You'll see the flyer. There's a QR code, register, and come join us this Saturday from 10 to 2 at Indiana Tech.
Hey, you guys heard it, and I'm not even going to confuse you guys because, look, that's Saturday. We got another event on the 13th. I'm not even going to mention it because I don't want, Jerry done gave you information. See, Stats gave you information, but just know, go to our website because 9/13 we'll be at the Urban League from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Financial literacy, mental state of mind. So we're going to tie in a little bit while we were talking about home ownership and finances, as well as how you handle that with your mental state.
Yes.
So come on out, support us. Again, been a pleasure to my guest,
Yes,
my
sir. Thank
co-host. Been a heck of a week. We are ONV, and we out of here.